Welcome to the What's Everybody podcast, where we fashion ourselves television judge and jury. My name is JJ Carter. I'm here with my co-host, Mattson.
Better read than dead.
And Alec Burgess.
Let's get it.
But maybe not.
We appreciate you tuning in. Go ahead and hit that follow, like, subscribe, bell notification. Hit all those buttons. We appreciate it. Tell a friend about us. We appreciate that too. We will always take any help we can to grow the podcast. So with that, we're here to talk about, thank God, the season finale of She-Hulk, season 1, episode.
Huzzah!
So glad I don't have to watch any more of this.
They were talking a lot about a season 2, JJ.
I fucking know, and I am not happy about it. Because you know they're gonna do it, and I'm just like, son of a bitch. Here's the thing that makes me mad. There was an early on episode 3, I think, and then there was last week's and this week's. Despite the fucking weird shit that happened this week, I didn't hate all of this week's episode.
I can agree with that.
Last week's episode, I enjoyed. Week 3, I enjoyed. The reason that pisses me off is I've got 6 episodes that were fucking garbage and a waste of time. And I keep saying this with all the shit that we're watching. You did not earn the ending to this fucking this season. If you had done this right, what happens with her jumping out of the Disney Plus freaking panel, I would have loved.
It's comedy gold under the right circumstances.
If you had done the rest of the season right to get us there, but you didn't. And Alec and I, when we talked about the last week's episode, we talked about the fact that Charlie Cox is gold with this, right? Like his entrance into it, their chemistry, the playing off of each other, it was fantastic. If you'd have introduced him earlier, if you'd have moved this forward faster, if you'd have had even more Emil Blonsky, if you had even more Wong, and if you had just played it as a serial for like a law comedy, if you had just done that, like where you have a different episode, a different client every episode, and you have these characters that add value to it, this would have been a great show. And the payoff would have been fabulous. Like the whole changing the ending to her own show with this robot named Kevin hinting at Kevin Feige being like, I fucking loved it. Like it was beautiful, but it was wasted because the whole time in the back of my head, I was going, this could have been the perfect ending to a fantastic show, but you fucked up so much of this show that it does. I can't buy into this right now because of it.
Yeah, it was a lot of waste too, because now we figure out the Emil Blonsky storyline was stupid, useless, not worth being there. The Todd Phelps storyline as being the bad guy and the owner of this website doesn't need to be there, completely useless. That's a run-up storyline. Then you've got, it's almost like every single storyline they've used, and then we're going to throw in Charlie Cox as Daredevil in the very little bit of end, and great episode. And then this last episode, it was, we want more Charlie Cox, so we're going to bring him back.
Yeah.
And it was like, now it's just fan service type of a thing. And It wasn't, like you said, it wasn't earned. They didn't do any of the legwork.
Yeah.
To make me buy into it. I knew I was going to not enjoy this episode as soon as I saw what the title was, which was like whose show this is. I was like, oh, great, here we go.
Yeah. I thought the same thing.
It was just like it's almost like they had 3 different writers that just passed around the script Mad Lib style. And then they like, okay, here we go, film it. And it was a hot pile of trash.
Yeah.
JJ, I think you bring up a good point, though, that the more I think about this, from the guy that makes the superhero costumes to Daredevil, all that, what you kind of said, they have the makings of a lot of characters that can be good, like comedy revolving doors, and then insert Leapfrog could have been an episode that dumb idiot. Like, I mean, thoroughly entertained by.
Yeah.
I mean, that was funny. And the more I think about that, like, if they'd said it in this way and this wasn't supposed to be some grand build up to a bad guy or a purpose so much as just to be funny, yeah, I think it probably would have worked quite well. And the more that I think about that, it's almost like, why didn't they see the vision of that? Because that's really what they've kind of set up, because there's so much fluff in between. And then there's moments that matter. And that's what a lot of comedies have, like Seinfeld and Friends and The Office and things. There's a bunch of nothing until there's enough of some things that let you continue through the nothing and enjoy it. And that's really what I think She-Hulk's been about. But maybe they found their way now, but me as a watcher, like, I can already think of season 2. I'm like, it's going to be more of the same, and there's just a lot of fatigue there for me.
Yeah. As we've been sitting here talking, I thought about have all of these little minor villains that we've seen, even the ones that were at Blonsky's retreat on the retreat episode, like, how much funnier would this show have been if we have the opening episode where she loses her job, she becomes even the first 2 episodes, but I think you take the opening episode and then she becomes the She-Hulk lawyer in the next one. And I think funny would have been if, so she has Man Bull, she has she could have ended up having to defend all of the wrecking crew or just the one guy that was up there. But each one of these, instead of them just randomly being part of an episode, she has to defend each one of these. When she gets them off of the crime or does a plea deal, she sends them to Blonsky's fucking retreat as part of their
rehabilitation.
Yeah, their rehabilitation. Like, here's your parole. You got to go up to Blonsky's anger management or whatever. It's working for him, whatever it is. Then you can even have the episode 6 or whatever where she goes up there, becomes friends with all of her clients, which then brings in the compound where they have the end. And you could have had, there was so much potential for this show and it being funny and having these moments, but they just had, like you said, it was like Mad Libs, like they just random shit that didn't matter. And I was like, so by the time I was so exhausted, like when the Mattson says, I was so fatigued with my expectations were so low. By the time we get to episode 9, I don't even want to watch it. Like, I'm just like, and then, like I said, I'm watching episode 9 and all I can think about is how good it would have been if the rest of the show had been as good, or even had been a good lead up, as opposed to just, it felt like another random episode. And I don't know. How do you explain that? Like,
well, and if she had the ability to change her storyline the entire time, why just go back until when Blonsky and everything goes down this kind of fight where she's suing everybody in court? Go back a little bit further.
Yeah,
you could change your storyline. Go back to before your life was messed up, because that was her big complaint.
Yeah.
Like, how come the show is about when my life got messed up?
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's too bad.
I mean, I was just tired by the end of it. And like, who cares?
You gotta give some props to Marvel for being able to make fun of themselves. And in the back of my head, I was like, Javier would have appreciated some of this, because they called out all the things that he hates about Marvel.
Yeah. Well, and that's in the moment when she's talking to Kevin and he's going through all this and he gets all offended by, like, when she talks about it's the same story. It's like, who told you that? Like, I thought that was genius, like, to make, because I love it when a show can make fun of itself in that way. But like I said, in a vacuum, that was a great moment. In a vacuum, it was a great episode. But as a whole, it was, make this show 6-7 episodes and then make it an actual, like, law courtroom drama and be done with it, or a courtroom comedy that actually focuses on some of the courtroom piece. Because the funny part about, one of the funnier parts about She-Hulk in the comic is that she actually is a lawyer and she's very competent and people want her to be for many reasons, right? One of them, she's She-Hulk. 2 of them, she's a great lawyer. So, but we don't get to see that. Like, I wouldn't hire her.
She's a terrible lawyer if we go off the show.
Based off what we've seen her as a lawyer, she's terrible, which for me doesn't do the character.
She won an award
Yeah. Based on what? Like, that's what I'm like. And technically, it was a terrible award because it was like 15 of them that won it. So it's just like, and I guess that's my thing is I'm like, how did we get here to where the things that were most important about this character was her dating life and being trolled. I'm like, make it about her being a lawyer and a superhero, and then add in the fact that she just happens to be getting trolled on top of it. Yeah, it just there was so much, and it feels to me like it was low hanging fruit. So you overcomplicated your way into a bad show. You tried to be too fucking clever.
Yeah, I could see that. I agree with that.
JJ, can you tell me about the Hulk's son? I didn't know
Scar.
that. Yeah, talk to me about that.
Yeah, Scar. Scar is a complicated
CGI
character.
was bad on Scar as well.
Well, didn't you hear, Kevin? The budget was up, and this was after
Yeah.
Kevin talked about the budget being up.
That actually, see, that just would have been funny though. Like if Scar came really bad at CGI, I'd be like, "Dang, yeah, okay." They leaned into that joke.
Yeah. Yeah, Scar's an interesting character. He is Hulk's son to a character called Kyra. When he was on Sakaar, the planet.
Is that the one where he was stuck for a while?
Yeah, it's the one from Ragnarok where
So
he
boned a chick.
Yeah, he
Like a chick could take a Hulk-sized dick.
I mean, sure.
That's a lot of dick.
Oh my god! I mean,
We haven't seen the size of this chick though.
Yeah, I was gonna say her name. Kyra the Old Strong is her name.
All right, I'm pulling up Kyra the Old Kai.
You're not gonna be able to spell it. It's Caieira.
Strong. Yeah, Google will correct me. There we go.
Correct me.
And
all right, here we go. I'm looking at images. Dude,
normal-ish
she looks
size,
skinny.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, except this one where she's like, she looks like
skinny.
she's squatting like 2,000 pounds, but I feel like the Hulk would have filled her whole inside.
Well, she comes from a race called the Old Power, and
so she tamed that D.
Looking at her though, she's 7 foot tall and she weighs almost 300 pounds, dude. Yeah. So she's not small when you start talking about comparing.
I mean, but Hulk's size is not small.
Well, sure. I mean,
so I'm just talking about physics here.
I guess it just depends on how you look at it. Most size, maybe it matters to the Old Power.
Maybe that's why Hulk was always angry. That maybe he was small.
Could be. That could be a problem too. I don't know. Maybe he's not correct anatomically. I don't know. Why are we talking about Hulk's penis?
Well, this episode went off the rails real fast.
Well, I just want to know where Scar came from.
Yeah.
Mattson, when Mama and a Dada.
Did he know that he impregnated her?
Probably not. That's why the Sicarians came to pick him up in episode 1.
Yeah, he wasn't aware. So he was born
behind on his child support.
Wow, that's a bad dad right there.
So they're kind of differently. So like she doesn't give birth like a normal, like he comes from a cocoon. And when he comes out of it, when he's birthed from the cocoon, he's already a
beautiful butterfly.
Yeah, exactly. He matures really rapidly. That's part of the Old Power thing. So he's only like 2 or 3 years old. So looking at him now, I would assume that he's a few years old because he's very young. He's a full grown adult very quickly, like barely after a year. So, but he's kind of in and out. Like he at some point wants to kill the Hulk because he's a shit dad. He's also a big Fantastic Four here and there anti-hero. Like, so he fights the Fantastic Four on occasion. And on Sakaar, the Hulk was a dick. Like, they call it it's Planet Hulk for a while. Like, I mean, he's not a nice Hulk there because he just gets to give in to his Hulk side and kick everybody's ass. So eventually, like, he well, basically when he finally runs into his dad, Red Hulk is taking away Banner's ability to change. So it
It's a bit of a
kind of loses
one-sided fight.
it. Yeah, it kind of loses its appeal. Yeah. But yeah, it's he's a weird character. I was kind of shocked that they brought him. I thought you'd see a Red Hulk before you see Scar. I thought that was a very strange addition to the MCU, but
Well, I won't be watching season 2, so
I don't know that I will be either. But Charles may fix that for you. Now
no,
that
he can't request a TV show.
Charles, you can request a TV show.
we never, dude. Yeah, we'll see
I'll
how
quit,
that.
Charles. You take my place.
He'll quit over this, but not over Pink Flamingo.
I already quit over that.
Oh man.
Oh, good God, that's funny.
So we got to see Juan again.
Yeah,
I will say something that dragged with me in this show over the course of it was all of the like fourth wall breaks.
this episode
Well, in the show
or
in
the
general.
show. Yeah,
I mean, I like a good fourth wall break here and there, but if that's kind of like your main, go-to comedy, really get something else.
yeah,
And it's like, he's talking to when Juan comes to pick up Blonsky, and he's like, "Oh, what? Were you in another show?" And Juan's like, "Yeah." I was like, "What?"
yeah.
like some self-awareness is good. Too much self-awareness ruins the story that you're trying to tell.
Yeah, the whole the level of meta-ness that we had in this episode, especially,
Yeah.
was a little heavy-handed. I mean, like I said, I loved the moment for She-Hulk when she runs and goes into Kevin. Like that shit was funny, but yeah, the Wong thing, I was like, oh my God, really? Like, geez. But yeah, I mean, it seems like Emil Blonsky is going to go live at Comartage. I mean, but they're setting up the movie that I can't think of the name of now that has like the villain group. It's like the why can I not think of it? Son of a bitch. They've been building toward it in a lot of the shows and a couple of the movies. No, it's Thunderbolts. Yeah, Thunderbolt Ross. So Thaddeus Ross. And they're talking about, so that's William Hurt played the general that was against the Hulk, and that's Ross, General Thaddeus Ross, Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. And he puts together a team of villains, basically, or anti-heroes that become like, it's almost like the Suicide Squad for Marvel, just without the bombs in their head. Like they just they work with it. So it's got Red Hulk, and they've announced the cast for it, and Abomination's always been part of that team. So and they've been setting it up throughout the show, the different shows. So we have not Captain America, but the American soldier or whatever, the new Captain America that gets that kills somebody. And anyway, spoiler alert. Yeah, so so they've got all these shows, and the most recent movies have them. So the Winter Soldier's there, the new Captain America is not Captain America anymore. The chick from Ant-Man that was in the other dimension that comes back all messed up, and she was the villain of like the second Ant-Man movie, that I can't think of her name either because my brain's just not working right now. But then you've got the villain from the Black Widow movie that was the chick with the shield. And why can I not think of these characters' names? Oh my God.
Wasn't the shield
Taskmaster?
Like Taskmaster?
Yeah. So yeah, you've got Taskmaster. They're bringing Red Guardian back from Black Widow. I love that because David Harbour's the shit. Ghost is the one from Ant-Man and the Wasp. And then Yelena Belova, so the new Black Widow or Black Widow's sister, Winter Soldiers on the team, and then U.S. Agent, which is John Walker, who was the guy he became the new Captain America and then so that's the officially announced team. And I'm sure that somewhere along the line, because of the fact that in the comics he was part of that group, Abomination will be somewhere in there. But I will say that I did laugh at like Abomination giving a motivational speech to a bunch of fucking internet trolls. Like, I thought that shit was pretty great. But other than that, like it was just a bad series. It was just bad writing. And I think that's why the fourth wall breaks didn't work. There was very few that worked. I will say that there was the line in this one where she talked about smashing fucking Daredevil. Fucking lost my shit. That was so funny. Like there were some good ones in this episode. The writing for this episode was really good. I just wish it had been better for the whole series. Such a bad taste in my mouth from the very beginning.
Too late.
Yeah. When only 3 of your 9 episodes are good,
and that's being generous.
That's like the whole dad issues. Too little, too late with Scar. Yeah. Too little, too late.
Telling you. I thank God it's over. Thank God it's over. No more She-Hulk for the time being, anyway. Till season deuce, and that's probably what it'll be, is a giant deuce.
Look, I'll be retired then.
Mattson will have joined the ranks of the retired What's Our Verdict podcasters. All right, Alec, it's your turn, buddy. Where they can find this.
Absolutely. Well, guys, that is the official wrap for She-Hulk Season 1. Do you think we should review Season 2 when it comes out? Let us know in the comments. We probably won't, but try to change our minds. Have a little fun with it. If you would like to view our episodes instead of just listening, check us out on YouTube and subscribe to the channel to get all of our releases, which currently we're releasing about 5 days a week. So a lot of content there for you guys to enjoy. If you go back and listen to all the She-Hulk episodes, you can actually see the life draining from JJ's eyes. So be sure to go check those out there. Leave us a like and a comment. Let us know that you enjoy what we are doing and the content that we're putting out. You can also find us wherever podcasts can be found, like Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or Ghana. And if you want to more directly support the pod, you can find us on Patreon, where every dollar spent goes to making sure that JJ gets a respectable nursing home to live out the twilight years of his life in.
I'm getting close.
Special thanks to our current patron, JJ Screaming Goats. You rock my socks off. And as always, did our She-Hulk verdict line up with yours? Let us know in the comments or by contacting us directly at host@whatsourverdict.com.
Love it. Thanks, buddy. It's going to be, hopefully it'll be a high quality home, because Lord knows I'm going to need some help. As always, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Cinemagic out.
Whoa!